I had a question about sexual appetite. I think for men, it's almost that the compulsive nature that we have adopted. And I'm wondering whether or not if one becomes more spiritual, their sexual appetite also becomes not so much a compulsive appetite.
See, every aspect of your life, a human being is capable of making it conscious. That includes sexuality. You can make that also into your conscious process. So once it's conscious process, it is no more something which decides the course of your life. It is not something that is compulsively working within you. It is something that you decide. That's how human life should be, isn't it? Everything you decide. You're not pushed or pulled into anything. And because it's compulsive, how many varieties of trouble people have gotten into, isn't it? If it was a conscious process, they would know when, where, how, what, isn't it? Just see the kind of amount of abuse, sexual abuse that is happening. You're not even leaving infants. That's not normal, isn't it? That's not even human. That's not even animal, it's sub-animal, isn't it? Because it's such a compulsive force. And yes, it's most terrible for the child, but my sympathy is also for the man. How degenerated he must be, how compulsive he must be to do something like that. That a human being can reduce himself to that level. How compulsive a force it should be within himself to do such a thing, isn't it? So that's simply because no conscious process has been brought forth into life. If people did something consciously, at least for 10 minutes a day, you would see all these things would go down dramatically. They're not starved of sex. It is not because sex is not available for them. It is because it's such a compulsive force that they have to do something like this, isn't it? And it's becoming a big thing, not just in one place, worldwide. It is becoming such a big thing. It is not that it's not been in the past, it's probably more coming out now than ever before. But it's always been like this. People are clothed in human body, but living like absolute animals within themselves, doing things that even an animal would hesitate to do, isn't it? Even an animal would hesitate to do certain things that human beings are doing. So it has to become a conscious process. It need not be a drive. It need not be a compulsive drive. It can be a conscious process. Once it is conscious, how much of what you need in your life can be decided by you. Whether something is needed or not also can be decided by you, isn't it? If you are capable of causing depression to yourself, I'm saying this not without any concern for your illness or not due to lack of compassion, because that is the nature of what's happening to you. If you are causing depression to yourself, you are able to generate substantial amount of intense emotions and thoughts, but in the wrong direction. If you don't have very strong emotions, very intense thoughts about something, you cannot get depressed. It is just that you are generating thoughts and emotion which work against you, not for you. So you are strong enough to cause depression to yourself because for you to cause a mental illness for yourself, unless you're pathologically ill, which is just a small number of people, rest are all self-created. Most of them are self-created.
A few are pathologically ill, they cannot help it. It just comes from within because of genetic and other factors. Almost everybody here, if we train them towards a certain kind of thought process and emotion and push them a little bit with the outside situations, almost everybody will lose their mental balance. They will become clinically ill. They can be driven to madness, I'm saying, because the line between sanity and insanity is very thin. People keep pushing it. You get angry, you're pushing the line. It's a thin line. In fact, when you get angry, you know you're pushing the line. That's why the expression, I was mad at somebody. You're not mad at somebody, you're just going mad. You cannot be mad at somebody. You're just pushing your sanity, the boundaries of sanity, and moving into insanity for a certain period of time and coming back. You do one thing every day, you try this. 10 minutes a day, try intense anger on somebody. What? You will see in 3 months' time, you will be clinically there. Yes. Just try it if you want. Because if you keep pushing the line, you go mad and you come back, you go mad and you come back, one day you're not able to come back, that's all. One day you're not able to turn back, then you're clinically ill. You must understand, even if you got angry for a moment, you're already ill. Maybe you don't get the certificate of diagnosis. They don't slap a certificate on you that you're gone, but you are going, isn't it? You think it's your right to throw tantrums, you think it's your right to get angry with people, you think it's your privilege to be depressed so that you'll get attention from somebody. You keep playing this, one day you will not be able to turn back. Keep crossing the line every day, one day you will see you cannot cross back. That day, you need a doctor. Till then, everybody needed a respite from you, but the day you can't cross back, they get the respite because now they can catch you and give you to a doctor. Otherwise, you're temporarily going mad every day, many times a day. They cannot even send you to an asylum, they have to bear with you, your family, your friends, your people around you. If you get at least truly clinically ill, we can hand you over. There's one temple in Tamil Nadu, you know, where they chain you and keep you. Where there is no hospital, no psychological for ailments, there's no hospital, there is a temple that somebody created which is supposed to push people back into sanity. So, families just take them and leave them there, they're shackled and left in the temple. You give them some money, they'll feed you, and you're just there like an animal, tied up. I think if hospitals were run like this, a lot of people wouldn't go crazy. They would maintain their sanity. Right now it's too deluxe. If you make hospital extremely comfortable, it'll become an incentive to become sick. And you have incentives in your life to become ill, right from your childhood. You got the maximum attention only when you fell ill. When you are happy, they screamed at you. When you squealed in joy, they screamed back at you, adults. Then boo-boo, 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 boo-boo. When you are a child, physical illness is good because you'll get attention from your mother and father and everybody around you, and you don't have to go to school on that day. So you learn the art of falling physically ill But once you get married, you learn the art of becoming mentally ill. Because if you want to get attention, you go sit in a corner, act depressed, people will pay attention to you. So, you keep playing this game, one day you're not able to cross the line back. That day, you're clinically ill. Unfortunately, in many ways, not just in the way that I said now, in many different ways, I would say 70% of illnesses on the planet, all kinds, are self-created. Even if you get an infection, there is a way. If you keep yourself in a certain way, physically and mentally, the virus and the bacteria will not work the same way as it works upon somebody else. If you set yourself like this, no matter what's happening, anyway, I have to go and do this, this and this. There's no break from that. The last 29 years, I have not been able to cancel one program because I'm running temperature, I got a cold, I got this, I got that. It doesn't matter what's happening, what you have to do, you anyway have to do. You can't turn back on that. Either out of your commitment or you have a boss like that. One way or the other, if it happens, then you will see, you will not at all fall sick so often. Because if you have temperature, you still have to go. If it's summer, you still go, right? Now, a lot of people don't go. It's a little hot outside, they don't go and work. Little cold outside, they don't go and work. A little raining, they won't go and work. A snowflake, they will not go and work. This is just weather. So for every change in weather, if you have the comfort of covering yourself in a blanket and lying down, once you create that, your body will learn to fall sick as often as possible. If you just keep it this way, it doesn't matter what it is, anyway I have to go and do what I have to do, you will see your body will just bounce back as quickly as possible, even if it gets the worst kind of infections. So, you just have to set the necessary conditions for health, necessary incentives for health, both for yourself and your children if you have them. Do not set incentives for sickness. The child is sick, observe him from a distance, never go cuddle him. He knows that's the worst time of his life and he knows he has to get well soon. And give him the best attention when he is joyful. You will see he naturally learns from within. His very chemistry will learn that it pays to be joyful, it doesn't pay to be sick. If you make this very clear to your own biology, to your own chemistry and to everybody around you, you will see people will not fall sick as often as they are right now. So set that up for yourself. You will see you will get healthy. If you can turn your mind this way, you can also turn it this way, I want you to understand this. No, I'm like this because my father abused me when I was 7 years of age. If you know all that bullshit, you can as well turn yourself around, isn't it? It's time. You must understand, mentally, physiologically, chemically, energy-wise, you must clearly understand it doesn't pay to be sick, unhappy, depressed, it doesn't pay. To be joyful and ecstatic, it pays. If you make this clear to all these people inside, they will all behave properly. An infinite number of doorways. If you're very diligent, you will open a few of them. If you're brilliant, you'll open many of them. But if you're truly vibrant, then they will open for you. The process of being successful becomes so complex for people that why they're working towards it is generally completely forgotten, and they will start evolving concepts of success, all kinds of concepts. What is being successful? I'm like this. How can I tell you the truth? You're looking so serious. There was a man in India whose name is Shankar. It's like John Smith. His son came to United States. Obviously, an Indian young man means he's a software engineer. He went to Texas, Houston, and started working there. Then he fell in love with a white American woman. He struggled because back home, this love affair is a crime. He struggled and struggled, then one day told his mother, then the mother informed the father, and the father exploded. He went back home to convince him, didn't work, because in India, if you have to get married, they're tracing your family tree for 5,000 years. They're looking at the genetic purity of the person that you're marrying. So somebody from somewhere else, a white woman from America, how can you marry her? What do we know about her genetics? Where does she come from? What is her lineage? Da, da, da. So no way to convince, he came back. And of course, when he came back again, he fell in love and they went ahead. Then the father disowned. Shankaran Pillai just disowned his son, I have nothing to do with you. But years went by and they had a boy. And the boy's picture from the day he was born, it was on the Facebook, and the wife sticks it in his face, and the little baby, and it's growing up every day and all the things. Slowly, you have disowned the son, but the grandson is a different matter. Slowly, within a matter of 1-2 years, he completely fell in love with this little baby that he has not seen. Things happened and people started coming from America, those who were traveling. Oh, you must see your grandson. You not seen him? Oh, you must see him, this is the fruit of your life. Slowly it caught him. Then he decided he's not going to see his son's face. He'll come to America and only see the grandson's face. And of course he's not going to look at that white woman. Then he came to America and a 7-year-old boy, full of energy, they're living on a small ranch, he's all over the place doing all kinds of things. He completely got washed away by this little fellow. Then this little boy one day said, "Grandpa, come, I'll show you my archery skills." He took him to the barn inside and he went into the barn and there he saw 8 targets, all of them with the arrow in the bull's. Shankaran Pillai looked at it and then he thought, oh, this is my grandson. He thought of all the great legendary archers of India, Arjuna and Ekalavya and he saw the future, all the Olympic gold medals falling from the sky. Then he asked, from what distance did you shoot? The boy said, from 20 yards. What? From 20 yards, 8 targets, you shot them dead on, bullseye? How do you do this? Then the boy said, "Grandpa, I first shoot and then paint the target." So, these concepts about being successful can be very crippling. And I've continuously been with people, they've reached a certain point of success and their concepts of success are not fitting, their life is not fitting into their concept of success and it's breaking it and they think something is going wrong. It is not going wrong, they're just getting better, situations are pushing them on, but their concept is breaking up, so they're suffering their success, you will see any number of people going through these kind of things. When we talk about success, I'm sure all of you must be already having plans as to how to unfold this success in your life. Made your plans. Plan is good, but plans again can get caught up in things because you plan from what you know today. Nobody can plan from something that you do not know. Your plan means it is an exaggeration of today as a tomorrow. Right now you're here at a certain level, now you think, my plan means this must be 10 times more in this many years or whatever, or 100 times or 1,000,000 times or whatever. But plan is just essentially an exaggeration of what is today. Maybe there is a certain logic to it, maybe there is certain understanding of the logistic attached to it, but essentially it's an exaggeration of today. That means in many ways it's ruled out whatever other possibilities which are not yet in your experience. In Pennsylvania, you heard of the Pennsylvania floods? Pennsylvania has floods, It once happened, a big flood came and water started rising in a small town and it rose up to the houses getting submerged. So two young boys got onto the roof of their house and they were sitting. And then they saw a hat going up and down in front of the house. One of the boys asked, "What is that? Why is that hat going up and down?" So the other boy said, "Don't worry, it's my dad. Yesterday night he got into a fight with my mom and took a vow, hell or high water, I'm going to mow that lawn." So, plans can be debilitating. It's good to have a plan, but it's more important that you have a purpose. If you have a purpose, plans will evolve, things will happen, plans will fall apart, new things will come up. Whatever has to happen will happen. If you hold on to a certain purpose, other things will just serve that purpose. But if you are very committed to a plan as such, then plan can become a blueprint for restriction. It is also a possibility. It's all right to hold a plan, but you must hold a plan at a certain distance. You shouldn't get identified with the plan. The process of success See, essentially success is a desire in every human being. You can put some fire into it and make it your passion. But if it becomes a need within you, that you must be successful, otherwise you will suffer, then you are heading for a problem, a serious problem. Our passions can turn into poison if we start becoming resentful for the non-fulfillment of those passions. When I say turning into poison, today there's substantial medical and scientific evidence to show that if you become resentful, when you resent something, when you're angry with something, when you're frustrated with something, we can medically today check, we can do a little bit of blood work and show you're actually putting poison into your system. These are poisons that you drink and you hope somebody else will die. Life does not work like that. If you drink poison, you die, and it's fair. It's very fair, isn't it? If you drink poison, you must die. I drink poison, I want him to die. It doesn't work like that. So these emotions always take away the fundamental ability. See, there is something called as a genius in a human being. Every human being has it, every human being touches it at some moment of life. But the question is, how often do you touch it? That's a question. You sparked once in your lifetime, that's not good enough. You must be sparking all the time, isn't it? What is genius? There are many ways to look at it. One simplest way to look at it is, when we say intelligence, we are always thinking logical thought. Now, logical thought will be meaningless probably in another 25 years. because your computer may be able to explore all the permutations and combinations of logical thought much quicker and better than you can do. So touching the genius means there's another dimension of intelligence within. He ate a chicken. Over the afternoon, this chicken has transformed itself into a human being. If you ask Charles Darwin, how long does it take for a chicken to become a human being, he would talk in terms of millions of years. Here he is. Over the afternoon, he transforms a chicken into a human being. So there is an intelligence here, there is a competence here, which is capable of what nature did over 1,000,000 years like that over the afternoon. Only thing is, this is an unconscious state of intelligence. Whatever is unconscious, if the necessary striving is there, you can make it into your conscious process. In your conscious process, if this intelligence, even a drop of this intelligence is available to you, suddenly life will spark like it's a magic. What everybody slogs for, you can just simply do it. Now when I say intelligence, always people will think this. If you say intelligence and ask them to show in sign language, they'll also always say this, isn't it? They'll not say this or this or this or this, but one cell in your body is doing more activity than your brain could ever do. One molecule of DNA is doing so many millions of functions in a minute that you can never ever figure it out. Yes, sir? So in yoga, in the yogic systems, in the yogic sciences, we never look at anything as mind. There's no such thing as mind. There is a physical body and there is a mental body. So you learn to think through your body. You know, it's a short session, it's not an area that we should enter right now, but I have to tell you this. There are many things personally that I do at the same time. Now people come and tell me, just now I'm entering the session, somebody comes and tells me, Sadhguru, these building plans have to happen, because we do everything ourselves. Now by the time I get out, I'll have the building plan ready as I'm speaking here, because 12 to 14 channels actively keep going on in my head. It is not just in the head, you learn to think through your body. Learning to think through your body will never give you a headache, that's the best part of it. Now, all these responsibilities and 1,000 things happening at the same time, won't you get stressed? There is no such thing, because you use a deeper dimension of yourself and everybody is capable of this and everybody has it. You may not have the same level of intellect as somebody else has, that is always subject to person. But all of you eat, if you eat a carrot, you can digest it, that means you have another dimension of intelligence, yes? If you set up the necessary situation that everything that's there within the system is available for you, success is an assured thing for that person.
In this culture they taught you, if you have to eat your food, first you bow down to it. You are not saying thank you to any god, okay? Please don't do this. If at all, if you want to thank somebody, thank that poor farmer who doesn't eat what he grows and gives it to you. We are not thanking any gods, we are not looking up and saying thanks for the daily bread, whatever. We are just bowing down to the food because we know how you treat the food, accordingly it behaves within you. Today there is enormous amount of study which shows, for example, water. This water has enormous memory. If I just as much as look at it in a certain way, its molecular composition changes, not the chemical composition, but the molecular composition changes and it behaves differently. Lot of experimentation has happened about this, and today they've come up with something called imploding water, where some of you might have experienced this. Suppose you went to a waterfall and the water that is falling with great force, if you touch the water, it feels silky. Have you ever noticed this? Yes? If it goes down 2 miles and then touch it, it won't feel like that. Only there it feels silky because the water is imploding into itself. Now they've created imploding machines, you can implode the water and you feed this water to your plants. With 10% of irrigation, you can get the same results simply because the water is imploded. These imploding machines which were made in UK, we are kind of getting them for the local farmers so that the water is imploded. With minimal water, you can grow the same crops because just changing the molecular composition changes so much. We have always known this. This is why do you think people go to your temple and they're dying for the 2 drops of water? Because the water is supposed to have the memory of the divine, supposed to be in touch with the deity, and there is supposed to be memory and you take it and it's supposed to work. If this whole science is managed properly, but today we don't know how it is in most of the places, but the possibility of changing how the water behaves within you just by treating it differently. Before drinking, just bow down to the water, don't see it as a commodity, it's not a commodity. It is life-making ingredient. This is more important than your mother, father, your children, anybody, isn't it so? What is in this vessel right now? Please tell me, I want you to hear that.
Yes.
Yes, because if you don't drink it for 1 day, you will not want anybody. You want only this. No, we're talking about the real thing. So the 5 elements, if you learn to handle them properly, simple thing, whatever, the earth that you walk upon, air that you breathe, water that you drink, food that you eat, and the sky, 3 times a day, consciously, just put your hands together for these things. These are the life-making ingredients. Your life is made out of this. Just approach it differently. You will see your health situation, your sense of well-being, your stability, everything will be greatly enhanced. If you want to do proper practice of Bhuta Shuddhi, please come, we have elaborate systems of Bhuta Shuddhi. Probably nowhere else in the world right now, these kind of systems are offered, but they will need a certain amount of preparation and absolute dedication to pursue them.
The question is, how do we, as you would call it, do the inner engineering so that human beings can be more aligned to what I think well-being can be associated with, which is social justice. So yes, we have done much better than our great-grandparents or grandparents, but according to the World Bank, you still have 40% of 7.2 billion people that you refer to living in poverty.
Definitely.
And one of their missions is to lift that 40% out of what they would call absolute poverty, which I'm sure is an ambition that you would share as well.
Definitely. One aspect of my UN engagement is to look at how yoga could assist this sustainable development goals for 2030. Now, it is not that there is no disparity, there is serious disparity, it has to be addressed. But how is the question? If we talk about redistribution of wealth, this will lead to total chaos once again. We have taken to market economy not because we think it's the best thing, but it is the only lousy thing that's worked for us till now. It's quite a lousy thing if you ask me, but it's the only thing that's worked, unfortunately. So what is working, we should never abandon. We must see how to make it work little better for everybody. It is a subtle arrangement of things because right now in India it keeps happening. We are right now a market economy with the socialist hangover in our minds. When somebody does too well, everybody says, oh, this is not right, look at him, how he's making money. No, this is the ugliness of market economy which we have chosen. That somebody now walks around gold-painted head to toe. Well, my aesthetics may make me put my head down, but I should not oppose him because that is the system we have chosen, unfortunately. And unfortunately, that is the ugly system which has worked for us to some extent. Other beautiful systems did not work. It did not work because human beings were not ready for it. System may be great,
You need yogis running the world. People who have a deep sense of unity about them. Now, when I say yogis, do not imagine that somebody is sitting in a particular posture, so he is a yogi. Someone who sees everybody as he would look at himself is a yogi. We need that kind of people to run the system. That is still too utopian, yet we're working on the people. We're sitting with you, we're sitting with various leaders around the world, hoping that little bit of yoga will enter them so that how they look at the world, how they think and feel changes. It is not a moral thing, it is not an ethical thing. It is just that experientially, how you perceive life, if it alters even by 10% in the leadership, big changes will happen. I must tell you this, when I was at the Economic Forum, they asked me, Sadhguru, if there's one thing we can do for you that will change the world, what is it? I said, I will name 25 people, give them to me for 5 days. You will see in 3 years there'll be a significant change in the world. They asked, who are these 25 people? I named the 25 heads of major nations on the planet, which amount to nearly 90% of the world's economy, okay? These 25 leaders, if they think little differently, everything would change. Samantha, you're old enough for this. I'm not saying you're old, I said you're old enough. Do you still expect the world to be fair to you?
That's why I'm asking this question. Can I blame it on my past karma is what I'm asking.
I want the world to be fair to me is a schoolgirl question. By now you should know the world is not fair. It will not be fair to you. But if you dig deep into yourself and have a taste of life, not a taste of your thought and emotion, the taste of life that you are, then you will see life is not just fair, it's just fantastic. So, do you want fair life or fantastic life? You must decide.
I've noticed this, that beyond the material ego, there is now suddenly a widespread…
Who's this ego guy, your friend?
Is all around me. And in my industry, the heights of it. So beyond the material ego, I've noticed there's now widespread spiritual ego. I've come across a lot of people who are now on a spiritual path, not you, Sadhguru, who consider themselves superior to people who are not on a spiritual path. How would you advise such people to ensure that they don't fall a prey to this new spiritual ego?
First we'll address this ego guy, okay. If you show me where it is, I'll fix it right now.
I wish I knew where it was, it just keeps coming suddenly.
So, you don't know where it is. The thing is just this, see at certain moment, as a person, as a woman, you are a beautiful person, wonderful person, I mean. I'm sorry, I didn't say only at certain times you're beautiful, you're always beautiful, but certain times you're wonderful, all right? Certain moments maybe you're nasty. Possible. So whenever you're nasty, you say, it's my ego. Why don't you say, it's me, I'm sometimes wonderful, sometimes nasty. If you see this, naturally nastiness will go down. But if you say, whenever you're nasty, Mr. Ego does this, and you don't know where he is, you don't know his address or ID, nor do you know his phone number, so how do you fix this guy? So everybody has this going in their life because this is spiritual jargon without being spiritual. is all over the place, particularly in India, because we have, 15, 20,000 years of spiritual history, so we know all the words. We know what Atma, Paramatma, this one, that one, Ahankara, everything we know, words only.
Words only, noted.
So we can just throw words like this and confuse the Western population quite a bit. Because if you come here, they'll say Mukti, Shakti, this one, that one, all kinds of things. I know a lot of people who've gone and set up spiritual centers in the West, particularly in America, because they just know one chant. Just one chant. Okay, Asato Ma Sadgamaya, with this they run the whole thing. So unfortunately, spirituality, in some ways it's come there. It's come there because there is need in the society, there is not enough source. Because of that, people are manufacturing this here and there. This happened, a few years ago, 16 years ago. And I was in United States and then somebody in the office, our office told me, Sadhguru, did you know every day 100,000 people are typing out the word spiritual? I said, is that so? Type it out and see what comes out. Are we even there in the picture? They typed out spirituality. First thing that comes up is a spa in Mexico. You've been there? And the next thing that comes out is a call girl in Northern California. She has learned all that SEO. For everything she says spiritual, 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 108 times she uses the word spiritual on her website. You say spiritual, she comes up, number 2. I thought this is a shame. For thousands of years, anything spiritual means people looked east. East means India, that's what it meant. So I said we must start something, a spiritual gateway, that if people say if they seek spirituality, they must look towards India. Because this is one culture which has spent maximum amount of time exploring human consciousness and the mechanics of what a human being is, how this functions on the surface and its very core. How does this function? What can we do about it? This has been explored. I'm not saying this out of my Indian origin, I'm saying this after looking at the world closely, that nowhere else has it been looked at like this. So, I said, we must start a spiritual gateway, India, the spiritual gateway. I must tell you this, till about 15 years ago, I had not met a single guru in this country. I just did not meet, I was just busy doing my own work. I never thought I had to go and look for somebody, I had never been to any other ashram anywhere. And then I thought, okay, let me make an attempt, then I started making phone calls. They all received my call pretty well and then I started visiting some people and started putting together. We had one meeting with 125 gurus. We made this thing that nobody talks about their philosophy. You keep your philosophy, this is just a meeting. This is just about how to enhance your ashram or your yoga center, whatever you have, how to enhance the quality. We will teach you management, we will teach you branding, we will teach you how to make a website, we will teach you how to present yourself to international community. Your philosophy, we don't touch, you don't touch mine, I don't touch yours. You do your own thing. Because that is the beauty of this culture, that it can exist in hundreds of forms, thousands of forms, and it's okay with us. So when I went about doing this, well, I met many wonderful people, but at the same time, at least 60 to 65%, it hurts me to say this, I found that if I walk into an airport or a golf course, I meet better men than in the so-called spiritual centers. Because it's full of jargon, no heart, no depth, no profoundness. Simply one chant, one nonsense, one philosophy that they read somewhere. It's going on like this. This needs to change. So to bring this profoundness to people, as people get closer to me, I get harder and harder and harder. Those who are very close to me, I am bloody cruel. Yes, because just to bring integrity into spirituality is so hard. Because the moment they get spiritual, little, like you said, you're calling it spiritual ego, I call it spiritual airs. They get spiritual airs, air bubbles get in their head. Suddenly they start acting funny, they start saying things that don't exist, they start talking about nonsense that nobody understands. If you speak something, whatever nonsense you speak, people in front of you must understand, otherwise why the hell are you speaking? Because the purpose of speech is to make somebody understand what you're saying. No, if I say something that you don't understand, I become big, you become small. This is rubbish. This is going on for too long. So, this whole spirituality as a thing, unfortunately, has fallen on bad times, but slowly it is rising because people's longing is increasing. I must tell you this, 40 years ago when I first started the programs, in engineering programs, in various different forms, 85% of the people used to come to the programs only for health problems. Only 12–15% came to know something. Today, over 90% of the people come because they want to know something, experience something. Only 8 to 10%. Only 8 to 10% are coming for health issues, which is a significant change in human consciousness. About this ego business, this is one thing we must settle. See, within you, is there only one person or… You think one?
I'm going to go with one.
One. That means you're an individual. An individual means, the word individual comes from indivisible. You're not further divisible, that's good, you're an individual. If you are two, then you're either schizophrenic or possessed, psychiatrist or exorcist. Either a psychiatrist or an exorcist has to come. So this is very important, everybody settle this, that don't talk about Atma, Paramatma, ego, this one, that one. You are an individual. What kind are you? Are you a wonderful one or a nasty one? Fix the damn thing.
In a world full of cuts, short videos, and distractions, you chose to stay and listen until the end. That already says a lot about your willingness to look deeper. Drop your city in the comments, and if you'd like, subscribe and share this video with someone who's also not afraid to think. Thank you, a big hug to you, and see you in the next video.